The worst feeling for a woman is when she tries to have an honest conversation with a man about the behavior that wounds her daily.
Something massive is happening in the dating world, and it's catching women completely off guard. The nice guys, the ones who used to bend over backwards for female approval, are walking away without explanation. No arguments, no negotiations, just clean rejections that leave women speechless. Picture this. A woman approaches a decent-looking guy at a bar. She's used to men falling all over themselves for her attention. Instead, he politely declines to give his number and walks away. No anger, no pleading, just boundary setting that leaves her stunned. This isn't an isolated incident anymore. It's becoming the norm. For decades, women operated under the assumption that nice guys would always be there as backup options, the reliable ones who would wait patiently while women explored other choices. But something fundamental has shifted in male psychology. These men have collectively decided they're worth more than being second-string players in someone else's game. The transformation didn't happen overnight. It's the result of years of mixed messages, contradictory expectations, and watching good men get taken advantage of in relationships. Nice guys witness their friends lose half their assets in divorce courts, get denied access to their children, and sacrifice their mental health for ungrateful partners. They learned from these cautionary tales. Modern women find themselves in an unprecedented position. They've spent years saying they want independence and equality, yet still expect men to provide traditional courtship rituals. They demand to be treated as strong and capable, while simultaneously expecting doors to be opened and bills to be paid.
Why women do not choose the nice guy. Now, the nice guy has an ability to be a chameleon to a woman.
This contradiction has created a dating environment where nothing makes sense anymore. The irony is palpable. Women complain that only creeps and players approach them now, while the quality men seem to have vanished. But those good men didn't disappear. They're still around. They're just no longer playing by the old rules. They've recognized that the game was rigged against them from the start. These men have calculated the risk-to-reward ratio of modern relationships and found it wanting. Marriage has become a potential financial disaster where men can lose everything they've worked for. Even long-term relationships carry risks of false accusations, emotional manipulation, and having their generosity taken for granted. The juice simply isn't worth the squeeze anymore. What's particularly striking is how women react when the tables turn. The same women who will mock men, call them losers, and treat them as disposable suddenly become emotional when faced with similar treatment. The hypocrisy is glaring. They can dish out harsh treatment but crumble when receiving even mild rejection. Social media has amplified these dynamics. Women showcase their independence online while privately expecting men to fulfill traditional provider roles. They promote female empowerment while simultaneously demanding male validation. This disconnect has created a generation of confused expectations that make healthy relationships nearly impossible. The economic factor cannot be ignored. Many women today earn their own money and pride themselves on financial independence. Yet when relationships face challenges, particularly job loss or financial stress, that independence often evaporates. Men have noticed that unconditional love seems to be conditional on their bank account balance. Dating apps have created an illusion of infinite options that has warped everyone's perception of value. Women swipe through hundreds of profiles, always wondering if someone better is just one swipe away. This mentality has infected real-world interactions, where commitment feels like settling rather than choosing.
The more like you give to me, the more I feel like I owe you something. So when a person is so giving and I'm not ready to receive it, it makes me feel emotionally responsible for them.
Nice guys have also observed the double standards around emotional labor. They're expected to be vulnerable and emotionally available, but not too much. They should be sensitive but also strong. They need to listen without trying to fix problems, but also take charge when needed. These contradictory demands create an impossible standard that many have simply stopped trying to meet. The concept of mutual respect has eroded in many modern relationships. Women expect to be treated like queens while offering little in return except their presence. This transactional view of relationships has turned dating into a marketplace where men are increasingly opting out of the bidding war. Technology has given men alternatives to traditional relationships. Video games, online communities, and career focus provide fulfillment without the drama and unpredictability of modern dating. Many men have discovered they're happier alone than in relationships that drain their energy and resources. The feminist movement's success has created an unintended consequence. By achieving equality in education and careers, women have raised their standards for male partners while simultaneously making themselves less dependent on relationships. This has created a smaller pool of acceptable men, while reducing their motivation to compromise or work through relationship challenges. Nice guys have become strategic in their approach to dating. Instead of pursuing women who seem uninterested or playing hard to get, they invest their time in personal growth, hobbies, and friendships. They've learned that chasing someone who doesn't appreciate them is a waste of energy. The shift represents a fundamental change in the dating power dynamic. Women who previously held all the cards now find themselves having to actually prove their worth beyond physical attractiveness. This reality check is shocking for those accustomed to male attention without effort. Perhaps most importantly, these men have learned to value their peace of mind above romantic validation. They've discovered that being alone is preferable to being with someone who doesn't respect them.
Some women cry to hide their mistakes, and some men smile to hide their pain.
This realization has liberated them from the desperate need for female approval that once drove their behavior. The transformation isn't about bitterness or misogyny. It's about self-respect and recognizing their own value. Nice guys have finally understood that they deserve partners who appreciate their kindness rather than exploit it. They're no longer willing to accept crumbs of affection in exchange for their complete devotion. Women who want to understand this phenomenon need to recognize that actions have consequences. Years of treating good men as backup options while chasing excitement elsewhere has finally caught up with them. The nice guys got tired of being nice to people who weren't nice back. This new reality requires adjustment from everyone involved. Women can no longer rely solely on their looks or the promise of companionship to maintain relationships. They need to bring genuine value, appreciation, and respect to the table. Meanwhile, men are learning that setting boundaries isn't cruel, it's necessary. The dating landscape will continue evolving as both sides adapt to these new dynamics. But one thing is clear. The era of taking nice guys for granted is over. They've learned their worth, and they're not going back to being doormats. Women who recognize this shift and adjust accordingly will find fulfilling relationships. Those who don't will keep wondering why all the good men have disappeared.